Hi everyone, welcome to Gull Lake United Methodist Church's daily devotion for Monday, September 13th. Can you believe it? It's almost the middle of September already. Time flies. Our devotion today is titled Finishing Strong, and the author, I'm going to try to pronounce her name as correctly as I can. The author is A.I. Owigji. A.I. Owigji. And she lives in FCT, Nigeria, which is the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria. She has titled her devotion Finishing Strong. And the passage that we are asked to read is Luke chapter 12, verses 22 through 34, which is titled Do Not Worry. So I look forward to what AI has to teach us about a passage that is titled Do Not Worry, yet she's calling it Finishing Strong. Right. So again, Luke chapter 12, verses 22 through 34. Then Jesus said to his disciples, "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat, or about your body, what you will wear. Life is more than food, and the body more than clothes. Consider the ravens. They do not sow or reap. They have no storeroom or barn, yet God feeds them. And how much more valuable are you than birds? Who of you, by worrying, can add a single hour to his life? Since you cannot do this very little thing, why do you worry about the rest? Consider how the lilies grow. They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you, not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. If that is how God clothes the grasses of the field, which are here today and tomorrow are thrown into the oven, how much more will he clothe you? O you of little faith! And do not set your heart on what you will eat or drink. Do not worry about it, for the pagan world runs after all such things, and your Father knows that you need them. But seek his kingdom, and these things will be given to you as well. Do not be afraid, little flock, for your Father has been pleased to give you the kingdom. Sell your possessions and give to the poor. Provide purses for yourselves that will not wear out, a treasure in heaven that will not be exhausted, where no thief comes near and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." So then our verse that we are to focus on also comes from this passage, and it's the very first one, Luke 12:22. When Jesus said to his disciples, "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat, or about your body, what you will wear." So let's hear the devotion from Ahai. When I was admitted to a university for a 5-year course in agricultural extension and rural development, my family was at a low point financially. My mother spent much of her business capital to pay for my expenses. My father encouraged me to focus on my studies. My circumstances became increasingly difficult, and I became more and more gloomy. In my isolation, I began to write, entering writing competitions, hoping to win prize money that did not come. But I was learning to trust God more. After I had spent years faithfully waiting, God came through for me. I received a 1-year scholarship in my 3rd year that covered my tuition. By the end of my 4th year, my academic journey became less cumbersome because God sent sponsors who paid for my books, my daily cab fare, and for my research work. They were total strangers. Our only connection was our Christian faith. Through this connection, a warm friendship blossomed between us. Though my studies suffered because of my financial struggles, I was able to finish with high grades. I am full of gratitude to God who turned my small beginning into a joyous end. And there's a little more to the story. AI is one of the featured artists. And so when you look at her little bio that she gives, it says she is an agriculturist who dreams of acquiring a postgraduate degree in communication and journalism. So she is still trusting in her Lord. And by golly, she's going for a postgraduate degree now. And I looked up her name and trying to learn how to pronounce it. And she is quite an author. She has written a lot. She mentions here that she began writing and entering competitions trying to win prizes. And she is, when you do a search of her on on the internet, you can find quite a bit of her writing on there. Might be something you want to look up. Hopefully you have a copy of The Upper Room so you know how to spell her name. But it's gratifying to see her trust. And it reminds me of a book that I just read this past week. It's titled Joey. Somebody left it on the book table at church, and I picked it up. And it is a fabulous book to read. It took me 2 days. And, excuse me, Jeff, my husband, has also read it. It also took him about 2 days as well. It goes quite fast. But Joey is a blind horse. And this book teaches us humans about blind faith. And it talks in there a lot. The lady that started this ranch, which Joey is there to provide therapy to kids that need that extra support and development in their lives. She talks about changing from worry, balancing worry and trust. And that's the feeling I got here from AI. When she said, I spent years faithfully waiting. That's a lot of trust. And it's a lot of blind trust that she had developed early on at such a young age. It's great to be able to hear her witness. And then it goes on in something that we can then apply as well. It talks that she had people that were being God's hands and feet out there in the world, and that ended up being her sponsors that helped pay for her books and some of her other school expenses. And she even had their name, obviously. She mentions that she formed a friendship with them. So it just goes to show that, we're continuously being asked to be God's hands and feet out there, because He is needing us to help others in their trust, in their blind trust. And so we can do that. And that's what her thought for the day is. God provides for me through the kindness of others. So think about, as your day goes on, what is it that you can do that provides a kindness to others where you can be God's hands and feet? Is it a call that you can make, or a card that you can send, a grocery run? Maybe there's opportunities to do as those sponsors here for AI and send support overseas to somebody there. But think about that as your day goes on. And then as we end the devotion today, our prayer focus is then students with financial difficulties, with school starting up and colleges. It's pretty pertinent and top of mind. There are probably students that could use some help financially, and we might be able to be there and offer that kind of help and be God's hands and feet for them. So please pray with me the prayer that's in the devotion. Dear God, thank you for the ways you provide for us through others. Help us to do your work and provide for others when we can. Amen. It's a good prayer with lots of reminders. Thank you for the way we provide, that God provides for us through others. Maybe it's happened in your life. Maybe you've been able to be that for other people. It's a great thing. So think about that as your day goes on, maybe even your week. And that is the end of our devotion today. And I hope it is the start of a great week for you, and that I see you back here next Monday, healthy and happy. Have a blessed week. Take care. Bye-bye.